Hello, everyone, and today I want to talk to you about the transmutation of negative energy and how um, we can utilize the negative experiences, energy, feelings that we incur and try to transmute it into something that we would prefer. And the main thing I would say to understand is that when these negative energies, negative feelings, negative thoughts, negative experiences, when these things happen, whatever that they are, whatever these, what we would refer to as negative experiences happen, um, it's energy that is basically our own energy um, being redirected at us. And it's conditioning that has been um, that we're allowed to see. Because of course, when we can recognize that something is negative, or something is something that we wouldn't really prefer if we were to create it ourselves, if we are creators, why would we create this negative experience? First of all, the main thing to understand is the recognition that this experience is something that we don't prefer is already a step out of the cycle of endlessly creating suffering. Most suffering that is generated is is something that is completely unknown to the individual that is creating it. That's one of the reasons why they suffer, is because they don't understand that they are creating their own suffering for the most part by again, continuing to do something that and generate this energy of negativity um, continuously, and not doing anything about it. Now, the problem is that, when you first recognize that you are in a state of negativity, the immediate reaction a lot of times is that, oh my God, I'm in a state of negativity, and it's a resistance to that. It's almost like, I gotta, you know, put my attention somewhere else, which is partially uh, the right move, but sometimes that can um, actually continue to generate negative energy into that experience, because again, when these experiences are already manifested, whether it be a feeling, thoughts, whether it be experiences, especially I would say feelings are usually the trigger force into a lot of these things. Um, the main thing to understand is that if it's already manifested, that's energy that has already got momentum going. And the only thing that really you can do is to try to slow the current down. And the best way to do that is to recognize that this is your own energy, and accept that, and face it. But when I say face it, doesn't mean that you have to. Let's say it's a negative emotion, and we'll use one of the more extremes is fear. It doesn't mean that you face it and then totally, believe it and just kind of like continue to generate that sensation of fear. It's almost it's basically you have to accept that that feeling is there, and it was there for a purpose. It was there at the time to, because especially like fear, it believed that it was there to protect your life, and it was a self-preservation. Whether that thought initially that created that fear was true or not is really ultimately not important, or really that thought, wherever it stemmed from. It could stem from early in childhood, where, let's say, your head was dunked underwater by your sibling or something like that, and now you have this fear of placing your head under the water or something like that. Now you have this fear. And of course, once you don't deal with those fears, sometimes they translate into other areas of your life and infect that. So your core fear may be from here, but since it's in your consciousness, and your consciousness has this distributed vibratory energy, and that portion of fear is part of the total whole of your whole being. And if you're going to raise the vibration of your whole being, you're going to have to do something about that. You're going to have to bring that up. You're going to face it at some point. Now, again, probably the best thing that you can do is to recognize first and foremost that that energy was there to protect you. It's so you don't deny it. You don't shun it away. Because again, by shunning it away, again, you resist it, and again, feed into that, and it still hasn't been dealt with, and it'll grow and get bigger, and again, feed into other areas of your life. So you accept that it was there for a purpose. Then recognize that you don't need that anymore, that it is something that, especially when you become very present, sometimes you'll come up against these bubbles of energy that are coming up, again, from the totality of your consciousness. These negative energies will bubble up, and you don't even know where it came from. It's not important, especially when you're very present, because you'll look around in your present and there's really no reason why you should be fearful, why you should be angry, why you should be any of these negative emotions, because you can look around in your environment and there's nothing to be negative about, but it's there. You have to accept it. It's there. This is your present moment, and that's really the way that you can transmute this energy. You have to be present. You have to be aware in the now. That's you transmute the energy by placing your consciousness into it, basically becoming into it, and not accepting that that is the only way that you can view reality. Again, if you don't place your attention on it, you can two things. You either resist that emotion, which creates, and generates and continues to feed into that emotion, or you totally fall asleep and become that emotion, in which case you wouldn't even recognize that that's something that you can change anyway. You just automatically assume that that's reality, and your life is terrible or fearful, or whatever. So the main thing is to dive into these experiences, to allow them to be as they are, and by doing it, you bring, and again, by allowing these negative emotions, which require resistance in order to sustain themselves, you automatically start to basically drive down that end of the vibration. And when you lower the vibration of that, the natural state for you is to raise up into the vibrations that you currently are. Your higher self is automatically there, always in the present moment, always here. So by bringing your your presence into these emotions, you're bringing the highest form that you are into these negative experiences. You're bringing the light into the negativity, and allowing that to transmute into something that you would prefer. And that's all that I have to say for today. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.